Yeah, Joe Rogan is like dangerous. His stupidity is kind of dangerous. Oh no, I know a lot of his hardcore fans are gonna be clicking on this. Oh, what's this guy gonna say about my buddy Joe, man? Joe's fucking awesome, man. He's better than you. What the fuck? He actually did this. I was trying to watch this. I got 54 minutes in. This is how far I got in. Right? Last night, and I just had to keep on stopping. Like, oh, Jesus. Okay, I get it. I have a degree in politics, and I got degrees in philosophy, so a lot of the concepts are really easy for me, but you know what? I know they're easy for a lot of people to understand what doublespeak is, what newspeak is, to understand the linguistic games being played by the left. Then you start watching this, and thank God, at least Andy Ngo got to tell like his side of the story pretty much uninterrupted, thank God, for the first 10 minutes. And then at the end of it, you see Joe, wow, this is all really confusing, it's so confusing. No, it's not fucking confusing, Joe. It's confusing because you're trying to play the false center. It's confusing because you've got this false neutrality. It's confusing to you because you're not fucking waking up and realizing that you're being manipulated by the left. You don't even understand what fucking doublespeak is? You don't get that Antifa are actually pro-fascist. When I stopped watching, it's when Joe Rogan, keeps cutting fucking Andy off. Well, can we get a definition of this? And what do you mean by that? And what do you mean by this? Like, Joe thinks he's doing, like, the Platonic method? Or is it the Socratic method, where you ask people questions in order to make them realize that maybe their position is wrong. But no, you're not doing it right, Joe. You're asking people questions because you legitimately don't know what the fuck they're talking about, which is so messed up to me. Because your buddy, Jordan Peterson, you've talked to him at length. A lot of the things that you need to understand about how our world works and has been working historically, politically, conceptually, you should have all that stuff in your head, Joe. But you don't for some fucking reason. Is it the weed? Is it the cryotherapy? I don't know what's doing it to you. But at this final point here, about 54 minutes in, and he says, Jaime, call up a definition of fascism. And I was like, I can't watch this anymore. Okay, yeah, Mr. James Pawson with your 3 degrees. Yeah, you understand all these concepts. Fuck off. If you don't already have a basic grasp on what fascism means, what are you gonna do? Oh, Jaime, could you call it up? What did they do? They called up fucking Wikipedia. They typed into Google, and they read the first fucking hit. A form of radical right-wing authoritarian ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, force... Some of this is correct. Fascism is characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and strong regimentation of society. Yeah, that's all true. But hey, radical right-wing? Not necessarily. That is not a necessary, essential part of the definition of fascism. Never was. For some reason, thank God, Merriam-Webster still has the proper definition of. Pretty close, anyways. A political philosophy, movement, or regime, such as that of fascista, that exalts nation and often race above the individual. Well, but James, it says nation. That's intrinsically right-wing, is it? Are you going to tell me that Chinese communism, for example, does not exalt nation and race above the individual? Are you going to tell me that? So no. Nationalism and exalting the nation and being right-wing are not intrinsically tied either. If that's your only argument to say that fascism is intrinsically right-wing, that's a pretty fucking weak argument. But anyways, see, I didn't actually keep watching. I didn't know that they did this. I just saw somebody else mentioned it. Somebody else mentioned it that, Joe Rogan is spreading around that fucking fake definition of fascism. Do I have to tell you this? I'm sure most of you know this, that gangs, groups of people, of leftist academics get together and edit Wikipedia articles. That's how Wikipedia works. Anybody can come in with a little bit of vetting and edit their articles. I'm sure most of you know how unreliable Wikipedia is, but maybe a lot of you don't, and apparently Joe Rogan doesn't fucking get this, and his idiot producer Jaime don't get this. It's being used as a tool of newspeak. They're redefining things in order to change the way that people think. If you change the way language works, then you change the way people's thoughts work. If you change language, you change people's thoughts. That's something understood by leftists. That's why so many leftist so-called historians and politicians, lo and behold, they have degrees in linguistics and communications. Noam Chomsky, a linguistics professor, suddenly becomes a historian. He was never a true historian. He was playing fucking games with ideas and language in order to change people's thinking to be further and further to the left. And this process continues. And Joe Rogan somehow, it's so confusing. Antifa, but they're mean though. It's so confusing. Fucking Joe Rogan. It really pisses me off what a useful idiot he is. And that he has such outreach. 5.7 million people have watched this now. So I don't know, yo, Joe's right, it's kind of confusing. And what did Joe keep fucking saying also that really drove me nuts in the first 50 minutes? 50 minutes? Yeah, it's just a minority of people, though. It's just a minority of people. It's just the far left of this. And they're the only ones that are violent. No, you fucking moron, Joe. Leftist ideology, as it is now, so-called extreme leftism, but which encompasses the majority of the left, believes all authority flows from the barrel of a gun. This is something, so Mao Zedong said that. Everybody, all of their fucking people that they look up to, all of the intellectuals like Karl Marx and Mao Zedong and Lenin and all the rest of them understood, or they believed anyways, that no true revolution can come about without violence. So no, it's not just a little, it's just a minority. It's just a minority of them. Even people in the comments are saying, yo, I live in Portland and Joe Rogan doesn't fucking understand. It's not just a minority of them that are condoning violence. In general, they see their violence against the right as righteous because it's against the right. And that's that. And also, don't you understand this concept that some people just want to see the world burn? Don't you understand how fucking lost and sad and pathetic and mentally damaged these new generations, the millennials, are? Though they inherit a lot of that from their boomer forebears, and I'm not sure where Generation X is in that. But they're so angry about the state of affairs, and they think that they're so hard done by because they've been taught in university. They've been taught even in high school. They've been taught even in grade school that they are victims. They're victims, and they want change, and they want revolution, and the only way we can have a revolution is through violence. Therefore, yes, we will beat up on this gay Vietnamese man. Yes. Yeah, and then Joe says, don't they realize that people are going to see that? And some, right-wingers are going to start picking up guns? Yeah, they do know that, Joe. That's why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want to escalate tensions. They want violence. They want a violent conflagration because they believe that violence, that chaos, that anarchy is the fertile soil in which progress can be had. That's how the left thinks. Your buddy Jordan must have told you some of this shit, Joe. It's really confusing. It's really confusing. Fucking Joe Rogan, man. Fuck me. Let me give you all a piece of advice. Next time you're in a thrift store and you see an old dictionary, the bigger the better and the older the better, buy it. Buy it. And every once in a while, check the fucking words and see how they're changing over time. But James, that's the nature of language. Language naturally changes depending on people's usages. It used to be that the word literally actually meant poetically. But for some reason, a lot of people started using it as if it meant factually. And now people are dead bent on trying to correct people who are actually using it the way that it used to be used, but that's okay. I know a lot of you are confused by what I just said. Yeah, literally actually was a figurative way of speaking in the past. But anyways, that's just an example. But language is no longer changing in a natural way. It's changing via social engineering. Social engineering, like these people that go on Wikipedia and change the articles and change the definitions, and they omit information. Just that video I did 2 days ago about Jeffrey Epstein. It turns out that they went to Bill Clinton's Wikipedia and they removed anything about Jeffrey Epstein. There's all this stuff is going on. It's social engineering. That's not true progress. That's not true evolution of language. You're being manipulated. Go to the thrift store and pick up a couple old dictionaries, before 1980 preferably, and the bigger the better. I know, I'm the only sort of person that reads dictionaries for fun, but trust me, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile. And the other thing, hey Joe, maybe you should read the book 1984 and read the book. I mean, I know a lot of you are probably tempted just to watch the movie, but if you don't understand the concept of newspeak, which I just finished talking about, socially engineering language in order to change the way people think intentionally in line with an ideology, that's newspeak. That's from 1984. If you haven't read George Orwell's 1984, Andy Ngo brings up doublespeak. The name Antifa itself is a perfect example of doublespeak. It really is they really are the exact opposite of what they say they are. They're not anti-fascists. They're very much fascists. If you understand what they're going for and if you understand what the proper definition is. I guess it does get kind of confusing if you're a fucking chimp, right? I guess it does get kind of confusing. Read 1984. Don't, watch the movie after if you want, but if you actually want to understand the concepts of newspeak and doublespeak and how, the Ministry of Truth is this building where you go to be fucking tortured, and you read it, you'll see, hey, that's what the left is doing. No, it's not on both sides. Like Joe will have you say, well, both sides are kind of guilty. Oh, and it's only just a little minority. Fuck you, Joe. You know, you're so facile. Oh, God. All right. Read 1984, pick up an old dictionary, and this fucking tool, you know, I don't know what to say. You know, I tried to say something. Joe doesn't understand that Antifa's intention is to escalate violence. They want the right wing, quote unquote, to pick up arms. They want things to get out of control. Look at that. One like. Thanks a lot for clicking and watching. Check out my Patreon and PayPal, linked in the description below and on the screen right about now. I do require $1 or $2 in support every month from as many people as possible, because a person like me who tells it like it is has got no hope of gainful, regular, full-time employment in Canada. So thanks a lot for clicking and watching, and please share. Sharing is so important right now. Sharing is so important, given the way YouTube is throttling us. They're doing their part too. They're trying to disappear us down the memory hole. Please read 1984. All right, we'll talk to you again real soon. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye, folks.